You've fallen, again, your dreams, crushed beneath the weight of failure. Everyone told you it was going to be easy, but the truth is far more brutal. Failure is the beginning, not the end. You've tasted defeat, and that taste, it's the fuel that'll burn your soul into something stronger. Failure is not just an event, it's a catalyst. It's the moment when you're stripped of all illusions, when you're standing on the edge, facing your weakness. Most people run from failure. They avoid it, numb it, pretend it doesn't exist. But here's the truth that no one tells you. Failure is where the strongest are forged. Think about the greatest people in history. The ones who faced the darkest storms and came out scarred but unbroken. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb on the first try. He failed thousands of times. But each failure was a lesson, a step closer to greatness. He didn't see failure as defeat. He saw it as data. That data became the foundation of his success. So, ask yourself, how much are you willing to lose? How much pain can you endure before you decide to rise? Failure will either be the thing that crushes you, or the thing that shapes you into something unrecognizable, unstoppable. Failure disrupts your sense of safety, but it also pushes you to grow. The brain, when exposed to failure, releases stress hormones that rewire your thinking. If you face it head-on, you're creating a neural network of resilience. Failure doesn't just hurt, it makes you stronger if you choose to rise. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling before. She became a billionaire with the Harry Potter series. She was broke, alone, and rejected by 12 different publishers. If she had listened to those voices that told her she wasn't good enough, we wouldn't have the magic we know today. It was through failure that she discovered her true power. And you, too, have the potential to turn your failures into your greatest victories. Fear is not your enemy. It's your weapon. The monsters under your bed, they only have power if you let them. Stand up, face your fear. Only then can you use it as the fire that drives you forward. Don't run from the shadows. Walk into them. Only then will you realize they were never as dark as they seemed. Fear is that constant companion that holds you back, whispers lies to you, keeps you paralyzed in the face of your potential. Fear is what keeps people from chasing their dreams, from putting themselves out there. But here's the raw truth. Fear is not something to avoid, it's something to harness. Fear is energy. It's the adrenaline that spikes in your veins when you're facing the impossible, when you're standing at the edge, staring into the abyss. And it's in that moment of terror that you must make a choice. Will you run or will you fight? Look at the top athletes, musicians, or entrepreneurs. The ones who make it big don't do so because they're fearless. No, they succeed because they make fear their fuel. Michael Jordan, for example, was cut from his high school basketball team. He was humiliated, crushed by fear of inadequacy. But instead of shrinking, he doubled down, letting that fear ignite a passion within him that drove him to practice harder than anyone else. He faced his demons head-on and turned them into a source of power. Fear doesn't go away. You can't eliminate it, but you can transform it into something that propels you forward, instead of holding you back. The greatest power lies in the willingness to act despite fear. Fear is just your mind's way of saying, this matters. And when it matters, you can't afford to back down. In the quietest moments, when the world fades away, that's when you find out who you really are. Not when the crowd is cheering, but when you're alone, battling your own demons. It's in solitude that you build your unshakable resolve. You are your greatest ally and your harshest critic. We all talk about resilience, but true resilience is forged in the silence. It's the hours of grinding when no one's watching. It's when your friends have gone home and you're left in the dark, staring at your dreams, wishing, waiting, but refusing to quit. The problem is, most people are afraid of the silence. They fear being alone with their thoughts. But that's where the real growth happens. When you're isolated, stripped of distractions, you're forced to confront the raw truth about yourself. It's in that painful solitude that you realize the power you've always had within you. Consider the story of Kobe Bryant. He didn't have the luxury of always being surrounded by people. He spent countless hours alone in the gym, working tirelessly while others rested. He didn't need external validation, he had internal fire. It was in his solitude that he became a legend. If you want to achieve anything great, you must embrace loneliness, because it's the only time you can truly hear your own voice. In solitude, you learn to push yourself beyond your limits. It's where mental toughness is created, the kind of toughness that doesn't bend under pressure, but grows stronger with each challenge. Success isn't handed to you. It's earned every drop of sweat, every tear shed in the darkness, every second spent on the grind when no one else believed in you. The question is, will you persist? Or will you quit the moment it gets hard? You think success is a straight line, don't you? That if you work hard enough, you'll get there. Well, let me wake you up. The road to greatness isn't clean. It's not a series of steps toward a shiny prize. It's a battle, a fight to the death where you face constant setbacks, obstacles, and self-doubt. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent. It's persistence. The willingness to endure, to keep going when your body is screaming for rest, when your mind is telling you to quit. It's the courage to get up one more time than you fall. Take Steve Jobs, the man who revolutionized the world with Apple. But let's be clear, his journey wasn't easy. He was fired from his own company. He hit rock bottom. But instead of succumbing to the weight of his failures, he found the strength to push forward. The darkest moments of his career were what fueled his fire, turning him into a visionary who changed the world. Success doesn't happen in bursts. It happens in the smallest of moments when you choose to keep moving forward, even when it seems impossible. You've heard the truth now. The path to greatness isn't light. It's dark, filled with pain, fear, and struggle. But in that darkness, you'll find your true strength. You are not defined by the comfort you live in. You are defined by how you rise from your deepest struggles. So, take this moment. Look at the pain you're enduring. Don't run from it. Don't numb it, use it. Let it drive you to places you never thought you could reach. Embrace the darkness and watch yourself emerge from it stronger than ever. It's time to fight. It's time to rise. It's time to become who you are always meant to be. The question is, are you ready?